And one of those is family and friends and the music industry colleagues are gathered in Akasia Hall in northern Pretoria today for the funeral service of Mkhukhu Gospel singer Solomon Molokoane, fondly known as Solly Moholo. You can see those are live pictures that we're showing you at this particular stage. And of course, with that taking place, you'd know that the gospel legend had passed away on the 2nd of October 2024. We understand that he was 65 years old, certainly a trailblazer residing in Soshanguve. Most of his followers, of course, in Limpopo, where Zion Christian Church is headquartered. And he apparently suffered an illness, we understand. We do apologize for, of course, live television. We see our cameras moving towards the podium now. If we could show you those visuals as we go to my colleague in just about a moment. If you see those live visuals inside that hall where the funeral service is taking place, we'll ask my colleagues to show you that now. All right, we'll go to, in fact, my colleague who is at that funeral service at the moment, and that is Calvin Dludla. Calvin, a very good morning to you indeed. Thank you very much for your time. Talk to us about the tributes that are being paid to this legend this morning.
Good morning to you, Griselda Lewis, and good morning to the viewers at home. Yes, indeed, today is one of the saddest days in the entertainment industry. Solly Moholo is being laid to rest. I went inside the venue, Akasia Community Hall. It is fully packed to the rafters. People are singing Solly Moholo's songs. But now I have to introduce Mpoza Mashabela from the Limpopo Artist Management, who will tell us more about the late Solly Moholo. Thank you very much, Mr. Mashabela, for your time. You can tell us about Solly Moholo. How do you know him, and how was he?
Thank you for having me. Thank you, Griselda. We are so heartbroken as the entertainment industry. As LAM, we've been working with the legendary Solly Moholo quite closely. As you know that his music, his genre was traditional gospel, and there is no way you can talk about Solly Moholo and forget about ZCC or Sioni. So that genre touches lots of people. As we are from Limpopo, we are here to bid the final send-off. We brought a massive tombstone with a mountain tombstone. This is a way to say may his soul rest in peace, because we tried all in vain to raise money to save his life. Unfortunately, we didn't make it.
How can you describe him? How was he as a person?
Brasol, I call him Brasol. He called me Letona, meaning chairman. He was a comedian. He was a nice man. He was a producer as well. By the way, remember Dr. Winnie Mashaba. She was discovered by this legend, Solly Moholo. You can mention quite a number of artists, late Makarba Chavela, including myself, by the way. I'm a gospel artist. So Brasol was very talkative. I will remember him with his passion in the industry. He was very vocal. So it's just unfortunate, because I think I can say the entertainment industry failed him.
Thank you very much for that. Well, Griselda, I have to introduce one of the gentlemen here who unearthed the talent of the late Solly Moholo. Baba, thank you very much for joining SABC News. We are live on Channel 404. You can tell us, how did you discover Solly?
Good morning to the viewers. What happened, there was a group called Bafana Bakosha, which I was producing, and then I used to go and visit them most of the time in Matibestad. Then it happened that Solly Moholo is a friend to some of those guys, and he asked me, he said, look, Solly, one day I want to be a producer of your music, but I'm from the rural areas. You people that are coming from Joburg, if you could help me so that I could be able to know all the dynamics of how to be a good producer. So every time I went to the studio, when I was producing Paul Mulaudzi or Mr. Mampogoro, I used to invite him to the studio to learn the tactics of being a producer. Then when he felt that he was ready to do so, I gave him a chance to produce a group called Nkosana Stocks and Stocks, which he did extremely very well with that. That first album of Nkosana Stocks and Stocks went gold. And then he did also another one called Buhlaba Believers, and he did very well. Then he said to me, look, I'd like to now go and do a solo album. But by then, he was a member of Masole Akgotso, he was singing bass there. But now he wanted to go solo. But before he does that, he said, no, I'm doing a lot of ZCC music. I prefer to go and become a church member of the ZCC. Then he joined the ZCC church. Then from there he came back and said, now I have been baptized, but I feel I want to change my name from Solomon Molokoane to Solly Moholo. That will be my stage name. I said, that's fine. Then he did his first album, and we took it together because I was a friend to the CEO of EMI, Evans Rosberg. I said, please give this man a chance. He's one of the hit makers in South Africa.
What was the name of the album?
That album is the very same album, Katsatsi La Bofelo, the very debut album which sold 800,000 copies. That was the biggest album ever that he did. That is the album that unlocked him as Solly Moholo. Then from there we never looked back. You know, he was also donating a lot to the poor, but I was always beside him, especially in marketing his albums. I made sure that he's definitely doing very well.
He did leave a mark in the entertainment industry.
He left a very big mark in the entertainment industry and was very somebody that had a very good heart in such a way that people were taking advantage of him. You know, he had the fake people who were saying that they need help from him financially. I know people like Freddie Sipeng also played a very major role in unearthing Solly's talent, because of he made sure that he was covering most of the places where Solly was donating, especially to the poor. I remember a school that he was donating some toys to the children that were disabled in Pretoria. So people like Freddie Sipeng, definitely they played a major role.
He was not big-headed. Fame didn't went to his head.
He never. Whenever he's with people, remember Solly used to rub shoulders with big people, especially politicians like Thabo Mbeki, Jacob Zuma, Cyril Ramaphosa, and most all the big politicians in the country, Supra Mohapelu. But he has never been big-headed. Wherever he mingled with people, he'll behave as if he's one of them. He has never shown that he's a giant and a well-respected musician in the country.
Thank you very much for your time so much. What I can tell you that Griselda Lewis is that the program is underway here. When we are standing outside here, we saw the premier of this province, Gauteng province, to say that would be a premier Panyaza Lesufi getting inside here. But for now, let me say back to you in studio.
Calvin, thank you very much indeed. Live to us from the funeral service of this music legend, Ntate Solly Moholo, who's also being laid to rest today. Those are live pictures, of course, that you're seeing from inside the hall there, where many tributes are being paid. We're hearing from my colleague Calvin Dludla that amongst the dignitaries that are there is the Gauteng Premier, Panyaza Lesufi, who's also paying tribute to him, of course, today. And those are just one of the speakers that are paying tribute. We understand that his last performance was at the Stones nightclub in Botswana. And there's lots of tributes that have been pouring in for him. You can see that funeral service still underway. President Cyril Ramaphosa offering his deepest condolences to the Molokoane family. And yes, indeed, I think everyone rising at the funeral at this particular stage as the Gauteng Premier goes to the podium. I think perhaps we would be able to dip into that just a little bit to hear what the Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi has to say about this legend, Solomon Molokoane, known as Solly Moholo, who is being laid to rest, of course, providing melodies, rhythms, and words of inspiration, the President said, and comfort. And he said, as we now know, that there was a soundtrack of faith, worship, and community for millions of South Africans. That is what Solly Moholo brought to everyone, certainly who so dearly loved his music.